Hello everybody, my name is David and today I am joined by Corey and Lars from QualityWings SImulations. Hoping to have a great interview today. Expo just started and I think I've already seen a ton of people over at the QualityWings booth. How's the reception been for the first 30 or so minutes that you guys have seen for the 78710?
Can't complain, man. It's been pretty good. People are pretty excited, yeah. So love to see the crowds.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. I see 10-ish people over there. 20. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah. So if you would, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what QualityWings is, and then if you can kind of introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about what you do at QualityWings, and give that to the audience.
So he's Lars Roenick. He's my vice president. I am Corey Ford, president of QualityWings. QualityWings has been producing airplanes since what, 2010? 2009, yeah. We put our first product out, a 757, and then after that we put out a 146, and now we have our 787. Yeah. So we develop flight sim products, mostly airplanes, or predominantly airplanes, for Flight Simulator X, but now we've pretty much transitioned over to exclusively P3D version 4 and up.
All right. So obviously, right now you guys are showing off the 78710, your newest addition to the QualityWings lineup. There's obviously been a lot of anticipation for it. How's development been so far for the aircraft? Have you faced any unexpected challenges, or things that you thought were going to go bad but actually went well? What's the development been like?
So development actually has been pretty smooth for that one. But really the most difficult thing was actually getting information on it, because we had this thing on preview last year, so and we really wanted to have it released by this year's conference, but we needed to get some knowledge and feedback from the real life pilots, and obviously this thing just entered service, so it's really a really new plane. So getting feedback on that was crucial, and that's why also it took so long. And other than that, I mean, this thing has a new main landing gear. It behaves a little bit different, but really the main difference on that plane, and that's what every pilot confirms, is that taxiing the thing on the ground is like really difficult, because that's a long boy. I mean, that's a really long plane. So, but other than that, I would say it has been a pretty uneventful development, and that's what we like. That's always good.
No issues is good.
Yeah, it's probably the best case scenario. So, with the 787 and your modern projects, what integrations can we come to expect in the future going forward with the product? Things like PMDG Global Flight Ops, PAC-X, things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about those integrations?
We, so starting with the PAC-X that's just been released by TFDI, we've already, had a working relationship with them throughout the development, so there's going to be support for that. The PMDG Ops is going a lot slower than we originally expected it to go. We had been in communications with PMDG when they first announced it last year, but it's been a little bit slower. So, but we're definitely open and wanting to do that. GSX, there's going to be some integration, or better integration with the GSX. And in anything else, with product improvement, everybody knows about the DATS-10. That's not really an integration, but that's really a product feature that's an improvement. So.
All right. So one thing that QualityWings is kind of known for is really being good at walking the line between good performance, good visuals, good systems, and good price point. So how do you guys, when you're developing the airplane, how do you guys establish those kinds of trade-offs, and how do you guys decide on those compromises?
So as far as performance is concerned, that's always difficult, because you wanna have a really good looking plane, but at the same time you don't want it to turn into a slideshow. Yeah. Especially for something with a 787 with those big displays, that required a lot of work from Ernie, doing some new technology that he's never done before. But also for me as a modeler, you got to keep in mind that when we develop this thing, when we model this thing, usually we're at least half a year or maybe 2 years out. So when we develop that thing, it usually should be a little bit above what you would want to see at that point. Yeah. Like you want it to perform a little bit worse on your current machine while you're developing it, because at the time where you release it, it'll be just right. So that's always something to keep in mind. But other than that, it's really like, first of all, trying to see what we can do, maybe push the boundaries, and then scale it back a little bit. And that's what really hurts, because you can see how good it looks, and then you have to scale it back in order to make it run well. But as far as price tag is concerned and features, there's always a lot of like internal debate on features, because that's important for everybody. Has a different style of operating the sim. Everybody has different preferences, and that's where we usually try to get an opinion from everybody of the group, so we have a little bit of a general consensus. And then you have some people in the group who have a very, very good feeling for the community and know what, for example, the high-end customers want. And then at some point you also got to bring in some, let's talk about beta testing, for example. You got to make sure that you have a wide group of beta testers covering the whole range, basically. So you got to make sure you have the high-end customer, but also the one who just wants to jump in and fly a GPS route. So that's also very, very important. And and then really a lot is reading the community feedback and trying to get a grasp of what people want. So I guess that's really the gist of it. But it's challenging. It's not always. Sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we got to fix it up later a little bit. We got to improve on that. So yeah, it's always interesting.
I think from part of your question was the performance versus visuals.
Yeah.
I think it was easier to make an excuse back in the day about sacrificing visuals a little bit more for performance. But I think as things have evolved over the years, you got to really make sure that both of them are up to par. You know, it can't just perform well, but it also has to look well. It's a challenge. One of the good things nowadays is that the platform that we develop on Peak 3D version, 4.5 and hopefully above, a lot of the limitations that we used to have, we don't have anymore. So that's helped performance dramatically, with this airplane and hopefully airplanes that we have going in the future.
Let me add to that real quick. And that also introduces another variable, which is if those limitations are lifted, that also raises the expectations from our customer base. And then again, the question is how much can we provide while keeping the price tag? So it's all different variables. So we've got to find a good solution. But there's no right or wrong. It's always going to be a compromise of some sort.
So you touched on this shortly in that response, but how does the community as a general whole in the public forum, things like Reddit, your own forums, places like that, how do they influence your actual decision making in the development room?
It's a big influence. I think we can touch on like with the 787, some of the improvements from the electronic flight bag came directly from community feedback. I mean, as much as we touch the airplane, or as much as the guys developing touch the airplane, there's things that we just don't think about. Like when we put in, the fuel weights and the passenger loads, just having a slider.
Fuel weight, for example, we had these sliders and some people had problems like setting a precise value with those sliders. So we changed that based on community feedback. Watching streams, Twitch streams, for example, that's always a good clue. If you see some people trying to move the sliders and it doesn't work properly, then that gives us a clue. Okay, we maybe want to change that. These shows are another example.
We just had, like, in the last 15 minutes, a guy was coming up talking about a couple of different things that he would like to have improved, and so come on over if anybody's here. We're taking down any kind of improvements. Not saying that they're all going to go in there, but we're listening. I don't know if you had anything else.
But at the same time, we got to filter it sometimes, because there is always going to be something. I mean, if that product is more or less complete, there is always something that somebody feels is super important and will make that product just perfect. And then when you did that, there is another one coming in and saying, okay, now this item, and then it will be perfect. So at some point, you got to see, okay, are we still within our price tag?
Be ready to make improvements if it's definitely going to improve the product, but also remembering what the product was originally intended to be for price points. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, but no, we're always listening. We're always listening.
Right. So now that development, at least of the 787-10, appears to be kind of wrapping up kind of on the tail end, and your previous products are now, for the most part, on prepared version 4, what's next for QualityWings? Besides incremental updates, where do you guys want to go from here? New airplanes, new utilities, branching out into different software?
Okay, so let me back up. the 787 is not done. You know, we have quite a bit of work that still needs to be done on the 787. We've got a product improvement package series that, you know, will allow for continuous improvement for the airplane as we just, you know, go throughout the years. Should I just have him?
Yeah, well, he's fourth person.
Yeah, we got a fourth person. Yeah, so that's going to be on our radar for quite a while coming up. But no, we do have a couple of other projects that we're working on. We'd prefer not to, you know, announce it right now until we have something tangible to show. But we do have a couple of things that hopefully at some point, maybe even later on in the year, that we could announce. And yeah, but before we can work on something new or a second version of anything that we have, you know, before we can do anything like that, we need to make sure that the 787 product improvement package and all that stuff that we have, you know, is going where it needs to go.
All right. Do you have anything else you would want to add to this interview so far? You know, just general comments, thoughts, concerns?
Yeah, I guess first of all, big thank you to the organizers and also for FSElite, the stuff you organized here and also leading up to the event, all the advertisement, the coverage that you do. Big kudos to that. That really brings it a long way. And thank you very much. This is an awesome event, I think. And also thank you to the community for the feedback that you provide on the forums, on Facebook, on Twitch, on all the media out there. That's really helping to shape our products. So, I don't know, do you want to add something?
So who came up with the orange and white first? You guys are EasyJet.
Unfortunately, EasyJet beat us,
right.
but I think we do it better.
All right, no, you said everything that you needed to say. No, but we always thank you all for the support, you know, the patronage and all of the passion that you put in some of the comments, and no, it's all good.
All right, so thank you guys very much for sitting down with us. If you're here at the expo, go check out the QualityWings booth. They're showing off the 787-10. If you're here at home, go check out QualityWingsSim.com. Check out their products. They're really great. They run great, and they're a nice balance between detail and price. Awesome products. We will see you later.